For more than 2 centuries, the shores of Lake Erie and the valley of the Cuyahoga River have been among America's best places to live. Hard-working people, tight-knit families, vibrant neighborhoods, all made safer through the years by the thousands who served Cuyahoga County as police, firefighters, EMS, and other safety forces. They're called to stand for us. But when tragedy strikes, when an officer perishes in the line of duty, who stands for the fallen hero and the family left behind?
There are so many angels on these officers' shoulders, helping them and watching them through this. All these fallen officers behind them, they're all with them.
Every officer knows it's there. It walks every beat, haunts every stop, attends every fire. That split second when the routine becomes the tragic. A sudden move, a gun, a blade, a vehicle out of control, a crashing wall. It's hard to talk about, especially with family. Patrolman Anthony Johnson's wife, Tracy, was called to Brentwood Hospital.
In that room sits my son is there, my mom is there, my father is there. And I just remember walking in that room and I looked at my mom. I said, "What's wrong with Tony?" And she looked me dead in my face. She said, "Tracy, he's been shot." And I broke down and I looked back up. I remember looking back up at my mom and I said, "Is he gonna make it?" She looked me in my face. She said, "No." My fear was, here I am, a young mother with a son. How are we going to make it?
Officer Wayne Leon was shot during a traffic stop. A deputy chief came to tell his wife, Grace.
I asked him 3 questions. I said, where was he shot? What hospital was he at? And what condition was he in? So he was in critical condition, shot in the face at Metro Hospital. And he said, you need to leave now. We had a picture of the children next to him. He kept saying, please open your eyes, please, and look at him. But he was not responsive.
Dr. Michael Kudnick was a college student when his father was killed in the line of duty.
He and his partner were driving on a call. They were following a car which they thought was stolen. They attempted to pull the car over, and when they did, the driver of the car jumped out with an assault rifle, started shooting, hitting my father several times, and he died several minutes later once he arrived at the hospital.
When an officer has fallen, where does the surviving family turn for help? There is comfort and support from police and firefighter communities, of course, but often family needs are profound and can last for years. In Cuyahoga County, a quiet but powerful group stands behind every safety officer. Over a half-century ago, 3 Cleveland business leaders were on a trip to Africa. Gordon Stouffer, his brother Vernon, and Fred Crawford discussed the idea of a private organization that would assist the families of police officers, firemen, EMS, all first responders killed in the line of duty. Back in Cleveland, they rallied 100 of their friends to the cause, and Bluecoats was born. For over half a century, Bluecoats has reached out at the time of greatest need.
It's a combination of things that we do for the families. Some of it is standard. We go in right away and we take care of the mortgage. We provide education for the kids all the way through college and sometimes through graduate school and sometimes even beyond that. Sometimes for the surviving spouse that goes back to, wants to go back to work. So those things are pretty much standard, but there's a lot of exceptional cases, and especially in this day and age when you have so many women working in the workforce, when you have special needs that the kids have, special medical needs, we're there to basically fill in all of the gaps.
Mike Clegg's godfather was one of the founders of Bluecoats. He's been involved with the organization for decades.
What motivates us to perform our duties is to read the headlines and then talk to some of the surviving family members. And you see that they're confused, it's chaotic, they're crushed by what happened. They don't know what to do. And we say to them, how many kids you got? We'll take care of their college. And if you got a mortgage, we'll take care of that too.
Bluecoats offered assistance in multiple ways. They showed up at our house either the day of or the day after the event had happened. They assisted with the funeral and things of that nature, and they also were aware that I was in college and had offered to pick up the remaining tuition that I had left.
They get you through from that point on, meaning your everyday living. You know, the officer is gone, but bills still have to be paid. Things still have to be done ran as a household, and they get you through that momentary time, that right there, that right now.
Retired Police Chief Chuck Lobello is Executive Director of Bluecoats. He's in charge of day-to-day operations with all surviving families.
Our mission is kind of unique because we specifically take care of the families of surviving police and fire.
Part of that care happens every summer as Bluecoats invites hundreds to a day of fun at Cedar Point.
When we have our annual Cedar Point Day, where we bring the kids in and its extended family, 500 plus people at Cedar Point, and you see the smiling faces, and the tears and the frowns are now smiles and joy.
Cedar Point, the kids love it. I know for my family, it's a family event every year. Again, it's something that we look forward to every year. They know that it's a special day. They understand the reason why we're there and the special people that make this day happen.
For more than a half-century, Bluecoats has provided this help without fanfare, without publicity, without drawing attention to what the organization does.
It's always done quietly. We meet with the families very often right after the tragedy. It's a very emotional time for them, and what we're trying to do is just in some small way lessen that pain and suffering and that cloud that's over their financial future, and step in and provide some security in that way. We're not in it for recognition from the families. In fact, most of the families don't know who the members of Bluecoats are. They look at us as a monolithic organization, but each one of us knows in our heart that we're doing a good job for those families, and that's why we're in it.
You do have guardian angels, and in the event something should happen, there's angels here on earth that will take care of your family.